Homicide right now is the #1 leading cause of death for children and adolescents. We can't ask anyone to save us. We gotta save ourselves. It's time. This is a call to the Black community in America, in Canada, wherever you are. We need to band together to take responsibility for the future of our communities and the future of our young people. First, I'd like to say R.I.P. to Takeoff. That's a young man, 28 years old, who lost his life to senseless death. And my condolences to Quavo, to Offset, if you guys even do see this video, and my condolences to every person affected by this, family, friends. I know they are all family, and so my condolences to everyone who was affected by this severe loss. But you see, oftentimes we get two very extreme reactions to issues like these. We have, on one side, people who have a extremely overreaction to this, and ultimately it leads to more violence, it leads to more death, it leads to more issues. But on the other side of this, you also have this callous nature. A lot of us are desensitized by the fact that there's so many deaths happening, especially in our Black community. We just say, you know what, R.I.P, and call it a day. But listen, reactions are actually necessary. And the data that I'm gonna show you, I know you're gonna have a reaction to it, but I propose to the Black community that we take charge of the future of our communities. Let's allow these reactions that we have in these moments to elicit long-lasting action in order for us to see a better future for our communities and especially for our young people. Because I'm telling you right now, our young people are dying at alarming rates. Let me tell you the stats. Homicide right now is the #1 leading cause of death for children and adolescents. It used to be car accidents, it used to be accidental deaths. Homicide has now become the #1 reason of death for our teens and children. Suicide is also #2 now. They say that 20% of high schoolers have experienced some sort of suicidal ideation, and 9% have attempted suicide in some way, shape, or form. And so if you put into a room 100 kids, 20 of them are thinking suicidal thoughts, and 9 of them have probably attempted suicide in some way, shape, or form. Gun violence has grown 30% in the past 2 years, and we know that COVID has definitely caused an issue to that. But gun violence has grown 30% within Black teens during the ages of 15 to 19 years old, 30%. Also within that age range, 15 to 19, Black teens are 5 times more likely to die from overdose. And right now the choice of drug is fentanyl. They're 5 times more likely to die out of any other community. There's been an 80% increase in drug overdose in general throughout our communities. And even though it's very recent, in the past 2 years, that homicide has taken over as a leading cause of death for teens throughout America, guess what? For Black teenagers, homicide has been the #1 leading cause of death for over a decade. Black people make up 14% of the population in America, and yet we are close to 50% of the victims of homicide throughout all of America. There is a problem and we need solutions. When I think about the death of Takeoff, it was senseless. A young Black man killed for what? Over a game of dice? Over an argument about basketball that ended up becoming disrespectful? Gun violence is so prevalent in our communities right now. We're killing each other off because we don't even love each other. We don't respect each other. We need solutions. We need to band together as brothers and sisters to know that we love each other and that we want to see better for our communities. I was in Chicago in September and I was connecting with this elderly woman, and she was telling me how just on her block, one young man died for protecting his sister by a gunman. He's 18 years old. His sister was like 16 or 17. And then the sister ended up dying not too long later because she was testifying against the gunman. This doesn't hit the news. These things don't necessarily gain our attention because it's happening at alarming rates. They're dying by gang violence, they're dying by overdose, they're killing each other, the police are killing them. Something has to change. Something has to change. And I think the change first starts within ourselves. I have to change. I have to be willing to say, you know what, I'm going to put in my best effort to see a change in the communities of my Black people. It has to start with us. It has to start with our mind. Our minds have to shift. I know our Black communities are deprived. I know systemic racism is real. I know that the world is not for us. We can't ask anyone to save us. We gotta save ourselves. It's time. It is time. I think it's been way past time. But we have to be willing to make a difference. And can we be honest with ourselves? The music that we listen to, a lot of the music that these teens are listening to, that the older generations have created, mind you. A lot of these younger cats right now, they're the ones who are pushing it out more. But this gang violence, this gang life, the drug abuse, the degrading of women in our music, in our entertainment, and within our cultures, like this is killing us. It's killing us first mentally, and now it shows itself in a physical form. We got to be real with ourselves. The hip hop industry is toxic. It doesn't help anyone. It's not helping these kids to grow. A lot of our entertainment is toxic. I think it's time for us to be a lot more solution-based than reactionary. We have to be looking at ways in which we're going to be actively making a positive impact in the lives of our younger generations. So my call to action has 3 major points of solutions that I want to focus on. Number 1 is opportunities. A lot of these Black kids don't have opportunities. They don't see life outside of either the city that they're living in, or the only way to get out is through basketball or rap. They need opportunities, they need shadowing opportunities, they need professional development opportunities, and they need people who are going to be able to pour in and give their time in order for them to see outside of the life that they live. They need opportunities to go travel. They need opportunities to connect to professionals, connect to businesses so they can see life and opportunities outside of just drug dealing, outside of just gang violence. The Wall Street Trapper, he talks about how right now he's teaching people and teaching kids how to sell stocks, not sell drugs. These are opportunities that these kids can have in order to make a brighter future for themselves. Number 2, they need proper guidance. Proper guidance. We need mentors. We need people who are going to pour into these kids, because a lot of these kids, the people who they're looking up to, are bringing them into the gang violence, are bringing them also into the drug selling and everything of the sort. And so they need people who are going to be able to show them a different way. Positive mentors, positive people who can show them a life outside of the life that they only see for themselves. And the 3rd, we need to develop our communities. Black dollars don't go back into Black communities. That's just a fact. We need to be able to put money back into the communities. Whenever I drive around in the hoods, I just see dilapidated homes. I see dilapidated community centers. We're looking at a total reform. We gotta be able to pour back into our communities. It is time, my friends. You got people like LeBron James. Yo, I love what he did with building that school in Ohio. He came from there and he said, I'm going to create what I didn't have so that other kids in the future can have something great, so they can see a better vision and future for themselves. We need more of that. We need much more of this. We need people who are going to pour right back into our communities. And this is my call to the Black community. It's time for us to elevate, because as we elevate, we're going to see a better community within our young people. I'm gonna do more, and I'm calling you to just do more. It takes every single one of us. What are you going to do? The time is now, because I'm tired of seeing Black kids dying.